I am Damonous. Jesus is my king. You are my family. Hello, I am Damonous. Thank you for joining. It's 2018, new year, although somewhat the same political story at play in the news as last year and maybe the year before. A little different spin on things this time. This author, Michael Wolff, created this book, Fire and Fury, supposedly interviewing actual White House occupants over the last year or so, and getting behind-the-scenes statements attacking Trump. Now, the biggest news was Steve Bannon supposedly stabbing Trump in the back by talking poorly about Donald Jr., and about his son-in-law, Jared Kushner. In a new book, Steve Bannon, the former White House chief strategist, calls a meeting of Trump campaign officials with a Russian lawyer in Trump Tower during the presidential campaign treasonous and unpatriotic. This is an alleged quotation from Bannon. It says, the three senior guys in the campaign thought it was a good idea to meet with a foreign government inside Trump Tower in the conference room on the 25th floor with no lawyers. Even if you thought that this was not treasonous or unpatriotic or bad shit, and I happen to think it's all of that, you should have called the FBI immediately, he added. The chance that Don Jr. did not walk these Jumos up to his father's office on the 26th floor is zero, Bannon says in the book. Now, there hasn't been a retraction yet, although there has been talk that there was a planned retraction, and read the Trump atonement that Steve Bannon was going to release until Trump dropped a bomb on him. So Trump very quickly went to Twitter and essentially just threw Bannon under the bus after this, which actually, here again, it's hard to say really in the last year when you've seen the evidence of Trump actually following through on his promises and doing things even when everyone's saying he's lying and he's not being truthful and all this stuff, he's actually doing truthful things. He's doing highly conservative things conservatives have wanted for years. Just think of the last year, 2017. We saw Trump pull out of the TPP, Trans-Pacific Partnership Agreement, as promised. We saw him pull out of the Paris Accord, as promised. We've seen him promise to move the embassy in Israel to Jerusalem. We've seen, there's so many more things, and mid-year I did do a mid-year review, which has a whole bunch of things that have been positive to conservatives that has come over last year. And that was only mid-year. There's been much, much more since. So when someone says to me in the media, when the mass media says, or even Bannon, or someone says, oh, well, Trump did this, and Trump was lying about this, and so forth, I take that with a big grain of salt, because I see a man who's actually following through on promises, and that's Donald Trump, President Donald Trump. And I see a man actually looking out for Christians and conservatives as incredible as a man of such a varied past as Donald Trump is. I see only what I can see, the evidence of reality, of government being transformed by one man with the will and initiative to change an existing order that was corrupt to the core. So here the Daily Beast apparently obtained portions of the final draft of Bannon's unreleased statement, which people are still recommending he issue. In them, the Breitbart chairman noted that he had previously and repeatedly called the Trump-Russia investigation baseless and a witch hunt by the left, which is a term that Donald Trump likes to use. Don Jr., like his father, is a great American and a patriot, and we all know Don Jr. did not knowingly meet with Russian agents. And I think the thing that I wanted to bring out in this video is, even if these statements are true from Bannon, that he mouthed off and he said, hey, this is unpatriotic and they probably did this and that, even if some of the other claims of people in the book who were apparently in the White House, who said, hey, why is he doing that? He's an idiot or whatever. Does it matter? Does it constitutionally matter? I think that is the biggest question that people are overlooking, I think, a lot of times. And as conservatives, if you're watching this video, I'm guessing that you may be, or you're interested in politics to the standpoint of what's going on today, and it really, you always have to put it back to the question, because the media is such a powerful force to change minds and to subtly try and take you down another course. And realistically, if the President of the United States and his administration is doing everything that he promised for the people who voted to put him there, all this other stuff is just subterfuge. So Michael Wolff, the author of this novel, with all these inside scoop, apparently he has some shady background himself in terms of things he's written before and whether or not those statements were fictitious or not. But he says, I will tell you the one description that everyone has in common. They all say he is like a child. And what they mean by that is he has a need for immediate gratification. It is all about him. Wolff added that 100% of the people around Trump, senior advisors, family members, every single one of them questions his intelligence and fitness for office. So here again, what's new here? What's new about this story that is jaw-dropping or shocking or anything like this? And moreover, what additional weight does it present to the argument? We already know that the left is trying violently to impeach Trump, to discredit him, to do everything since day one, since before day one, to discredit the whole election, to discredit everything Donald Trump does. So because there's some supposed tell-all book or some, comments made by someone in a fit of aggravation. In this case, maybe these people were just frustrated at the day. They didn't get their way with the big man, right? They didn't get their way and they said something, and this guy happened to somehow have an eavesdropping device, or however else he got this material and wrote his book. But we can't keep our eyes off the prize. And the prize is something of such gravity and weight that I think a lot of Americans don't even see today, but we have to stay aware of this. There are people who want to impeach this president. There are people who want to take down every member of this administration. What I see right now is somewhat of a race between opposing forces. There's calls again to get the Clintons back under investigation for dirty dealings involving the Clinton Foundation. On the other side, there's Robert Mueller's investigation into Donald Trump's supposed Russian connections related to the election. And I see these two opposing struggles here between the two parties and these two sides almost in a race to get to the indictment of the other. And really, as bystanders, not outsiders, as bystanders, we have to be, there may come a time when as citizens we have to be more than bystanders. We may have to play hardball with our senators and our representatives and maybe recall some of them, right? Or some of these Democrats who are going crazy and making all sorts of wild claims about impeachment when they're really just trying to change the vote. They were voted out, and their terrible candidate for president was voted out, and they want to come back and refigure all that. We the people still have a lot of powers that we don't commonly think about, but every state has ways to recall elected officials. So if they start playing their games, we have to defend. We have to defend our vote, defend our president. And more than ever before, this is a president who is fighting for us. And the only reason I can say that with a straight face, and I know there's some people that would laugh at that and such, but the only reason I can say that with conviction is due to what he has done to live up to his promises. When before has your vote ever counted so much that the person you elected actually did all the promises? I'm going to say all of them because I haven't seen one yet that he has failed completely to, or he's gone back against. I mean, he has gone steadily toward fulfilling every promise. So as long as that continues, this is someone I, as an American citizen, have to defend. This is someone we, as an American people, we the people, have to defend. Because if these others are successful at what they're doing, including ridiculous attempts like this, having a Yale psychiatrist briefing members of Congress on Trump's mental illness, if they're successful at trying to impeach him on the grounds of psychosis or whatever it is that they want to try and use their media lackeys to pump up and make it look like it's real when it's not. If they're successful, for Christians, for conservatives, the result would be horrific. It would be a loss of power, the likes of which we've never seen before in the United States. Thanks for watching. Please like this video and subscribe to this channel. Catch me on these alternate media sources.